So what I'm doing today is making a drawing and maybe a painting on site. I'm parked here after a beautiful rain, which we really needed, on a safe patch of road. Somebody can easily see me from behind, which is what I always am concerned about, getting hit from behind while I'm parked. So I'm going to make a drawing, a quick pencil drawing. And then I'm going to go in with gouaches. I'm trying to make a composition here while I'm looking at two things at the same time. Oh, always remember to keep the phone centered on the picture, which was a problem in the last video. I'm trying to figure out how to do this using a phone. I tried to do it with a tablet before, but that was damn near impossible because you can't really hold a tablet in one hand. It's bigger and it obstructs your view. So let's see if this will work any better. It's a small phone which has a nice feature on it which can edit out, has a stabilizer on it, edits out shake caused by hand holding your phone, which is kind of essential. Wow, it's really a pretty day. You can see Lake Ontario from here. That's what I'm drawing. Well, yeah, Lake Ontario is right past what I'm drawing right now. All those little bits in the distances. Everything I do is an approximation. I'm never too concerned with accuracy. Oh, beautiful clouds. No room for them up there. So I'm just trying to find the space for all the shapes and different color masses. A little bit of blocking in of major lights and darks. Not too much though, just some. See, camera went off the picture there. That's annoying, I know. Sorry about that. I'd figure out another way of holding the phone if I could. I mean, I'm holding it and I can sort of see it, and I'm seeing past the phone. Oh, wait a minute, what am I doing here? Okay, I see there. Oh, I'm missing a whole lot of things here. Oh well. As I said, I'm not too concerned with accuracy. Now the challenging part here will be to actually access the gouaches with one hand, because normally I have lots of trays going at the same time, and that really helps me use a lot of different mixtures that sort of carry on from from session to session. I mix with colors that are already mixed. I really like doing that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I think I got everything divided up enough. And just look how pretty that is. Wow, it's so nice being out. And it's so nice getting the rain. We really needed rain. Look at that cloud. So here's what I've got to work with today. Pencils, mechanical pencils. The brushes point up, ready to go. As soon as I use them, it's point down. Now, I'm going to just quickly do a wash. This is something I started mostly with acrylic painting. I'm going to do a wash to kind of tie everything together. It's very helpful doing this in acrylics. And I started it with acrylics. I don't really think I necessarily need it with gouaches because they are more transparent, so you're actually mixing with this color when you put the top color on. Whereas in acrylic, the color sits on top of color. But anyways, just a little bit of warmth to oppose most of the cools that come on the top. I'm just going to let that dry for a second. Show you my beautiful mess of my colors here. The China white is used to... this is where it gets annoying, where you use part of the tube and then it's hard to get more out because it hardens. But this China white is essential for these kind of colors, which are not actually true watercolors. They're opaque watercolors, Pelican opaque watercolors. And the advantage of them is I can get both transparencies and some opacity. And that happens, the opacity happens by mixing some white in with the color and other color mixtures. So that is really useful, the China white, when I'm working in this medium. Now I'm going to, like, I switch with a lot of different sets. Let's see, well, I can still use this set. I'm going to put in some darks just to, well, put in some darks, some dark lining to... Oh God, this kind of, sorry, it's hard to do two things at once. Now I'm working with more than one set at a time. Colors back there get much bluer. So I'm going to be cognizant of that fact, even though I'm not going to put anything in too solidly yet. What the hell? I'm really mostly painting lines and color shapes. It's pretty much what I'm always painting. A couple of color notes. There's so many things on the go here at the same time. You see all these different trays. I like that bit of gray up there. I just put it in right now so I can remember that I want it there. Nothing is finished. What else do I have on the go here? I have so many things on the go. And it's hard to show them all to you, what I'm looking at. any particular time. Just little minuscule bits of... See, here's an example of mixing with color that's already there. It's very useful. That's the really useful thing about gouache, more so than acrylic. You can't mix with colors that are already mixed and dried up in acrylic. You know, it's dry, it's gone. But with gouache, it opens up. So it's cool. Okay, I'm just sort of stacking everything on my lap at the moment, which I wouldn't do normally. I would just put things down. See, this color was already here from last time. I need it again, so here we go. Probably use a different color at this point. Sorry, a different brush, I mean. But I don't want to switch up and switch hands. I'm just trying to keep things as basic as I can on this one so I can photograph it properly, which I think I'm sort of doing, or at least half-ass doing. At least my phone is on the image. Let's see. Looking for a bright yellow at the moment, which, see, you also have to be careful that I'm not contaminating colors. Which I have a tendency to do, but then I clean them up. Because you'll see that a lot of my colors here are, you know, like that. Look at that yellow. That yellow is filthy. Can you see it? But it will become clean again at a certain point. There's another yellow there that I can use. So what I'm saying is there's method to my madness here. But I want this yellow to be, Jesus, for one thing, I want it to be in the picture. I want this yellow to be strong and bright, but right now it's not opaque enough, so I'm going to add a bit of this. I previously put a bit of this China white in here. So that China white is actually fresh. If it wasn't fresh, it'd be hard as rock right now. Okay, that's probably opaque enough. At least it will be when the rest of the colors get in there. Remember, you're always making a... When you're making a painting, you're always making a relationship. There is no individuality, and no individual things in painting. There's, you know, if something individual starts to look too important, you have to subdue it. Everything is a relationship, is what I'm trying to say. Nothing is seen by itself. Yeah, I screwed up the drawing here, actually, but we'll work with that. I left some things out that are kind of important, but we'll work without it. This is interesting. Sometimes people, when I'm painting, sometimes people actually stop and say, "Are you all right? You having a heart attack or something?" And I say, "No, I'm just making a painting." Send them on their way. So it's nice they stop. Okay, I'm gonna switch brushes. A slightly larger brush, mix some different paint. Let's see, what can I do here? Look at that beautifully ugly set of ugly colors, all mixed up. Okay, what do we got there? So I'm going to go to a dark blue. I'm opposing it with a brown, which is essentially the opposite in color theory. You know, a red. Brown is a red. So I'm putting in, shit, my brush is a little loose on its tip there. On this, it's coming apart a bit, so that makes it kind of hard to paint with. Normally when that happens, I just tape them. I put masking tape on them to rejoin them. And that works, sort of. I never throw anything out. I find a way to reuse it. I fix it and I reuse it. So what I'm doing now is I'm sort of reasserting the structure with these darks. There's going to be a lot of dark in this, a lot of green. But I don't think this is the right brush for it. I need a brush that's somewhat smaller. There's an example of what where is it? There's an example of what I do with the brush. When the tip gets loose, I just put masking tape on it. You know, it'd be going much faster normally, but what I'm trying to do here is try to focus on two things at once. Mostly trying to make sure I'm centered with this phone. And then moving it. I think it's kind of working. I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to mix up a green that is mid. I'll start with this actually. See this ugly color here? That is kind of mucky and gray. Okay, now I'm going to go to my bright colors and I'm going to add, going to lighten it with that, brighten it with that, give more pigment to it with that. And I'm hoping this will be opaque enough because some of that color underneath there is actually gouache from a different set as opposed to opaque watercolor. So let's see what this will look like on there. Yeah, okay, that's useful. I wonder how much all I want. Maybe I don't want it too much back there. So I want to block with this. I want to block in a lot. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. So I just want to mass in a lot of this green. It will be going on top of with other things later. I want to not destroy the structure of what I've got though. Oh, that's interesting. I always see little things that you... Nice thing about working outside is this is guiding you. It's guiding me, but it's not controlling me. So it's actually pretty automatic what I'm doing. I'm not really even thinking much. Well, I guess I'm being logistical. That's a form of thinking. I feel like I'm not getting enough pigment at the moment, so I'm going to mix more. This set has been going a long time. I've had this, I haven't used this set straight, but I've had it since the 1980s. Late 1970s, 1980s. So don't count the years. I'm 287 years old. I'm doing pretty good. No problem so far. That new gene splicing technology worked very well. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of that green back there without... I do want that back part to recede more, so I don't want too much bright color back there. This area here needs a bit of attention. The scale of this brush is too large for what I'm trying to do there, but anyways. Okay, wash that out, go back to the dark. Put this in really dark. Oh, not blue enough. Try that. Better. Some more. And why am I touching this? Why am I touching that and then putting it to that blue? Because this color and this color, every one of these colors will be fairly transparent straight out of there. When you hit them with the opposite, you get opacity. Because you're actually cutting that. You're cutting their color. So that's the reason. So whenever you're mixing colors, you have to ask yourself, what darkness do I want? Answer that. And then, what brightness do I want? So you can't affect darkness. I mean, the darkest color, the darkness, as dark as the color is out of its existence, you know, if either it's a pan or a tube, that's what you've got. You can't really darken it. You can add a darker color to it, but I mean, it's very tricky. You can lighten it and you can dull it very swiftly and very easily. The darkening of the color, you basically go to the tube and you've got what you've got. If that makes any sense. Okay, I'm going to dull that. I'm going to dull. Maybe we can go to. See, I got duller colors here. I want a duller color back there. But that doesn't have enough pigment in it, so I'm basically cutting that with purple. And it doesn't have enough pigment in it, so I'll put a little bit more green in it. Brown purple. Okay, let's see if I'm getting a little bit more. Okay, I'm getting a little better coverage. It's a useful color for some of this road too, so opportunism at play here. Nice thing about painting too, or doing any activity really, is the chance for you to stop thinking, you know, because the activity sort of takes over. So if you think too much, find something that will occupy your brain so you're not torturing yourself half the time. Oh, that's kind of nice. Wow. Okay, now this gray, it's coming in. That has happened up in the sky, and that's quite nice to see. See that? That's new. I mean, things change so fast when you're painting outside anyways, so. I need a light blue here. Certain colors are a little trickier to get than others. So, let's see, what the hell do I have going here? I need some opaque white, but I can't actually put that out with one hand. Okay, let's see. What is this here? Well, that's not going to work either. Okay, here we go. We have some that's already pre-mixed. I'm looking for a brush that's in the middle. I've got to put out some white first too. In fact, I think I will do that. Where is that? So many lovely things to look at. I can't find half of them with one hand anyways. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the white that I set out. I put some fresh white out at this point if I had two hands on the go, but I don't, so look, I'll just use it anyways. Oh, okay, I see. That's because I took that white previously. See what I'm massaging there with that white? A lot of times I'll try to put my whites in before I put other things in because they're hard to reclaim later. So that's what I'm doing now. That's why I was spending that time looking for the white. Oh, there's a bit of white there. And now I'll go to this. Mix up a nice sloppy mess of blue. Try to get it opaque. So that blue is a pure color taken from one of these tabs there, taken from there, with a lot of opaque white in it. So you can see the function of the opaque white, why it's so useful. Let a little bit of that pink show through from the underpainting. See, that's why that stuff can be valuable. the other thing is, best made plans can go straight to hell often, so what you intend is not what you get. So things have to change quite often. We'll leave that sky for just a bit, let the color sop in there, and work somewhere else. I'll come back to that sky in a minute. So what am I looking for now? I'm looking for I want to put something in there. The nice thing about watercolors too is that, you know, you're adding all this water and they just dry up. Nothing goes moldy. The thing with keeping acrylics wet is that you're going to get some mold. And how I prevent that is by adding 75% alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and that works. But you know, you're always going to get some mold. So you don't get that problem with watercolors or opaque watercolors. Okay, I haven't used my smallish brush yet, which I will. So I don't have too many of them here going at the same time. What am I looking for? Come on, where are you? This is a nice brush. Even though these very fine brushes will lose their point. I mean, you have to be careful to preserve their point. You have to treat them delicately, or they just go out of shape. You lose the tip. And this brush is not behaving at the moment, but anyways, we're going to try to work it in. Okay, let's see. That looks okay. I shouldn't be working back here because there's too much sloppy color here at the moment. You risk losing things. But it's all right. Everything's a risk. Nobody dies in this business. So it's not like brain surgery. I'm going to go reassert those center areas too. It's starting to rain again, which is nice. Painting in the car. Always safe from the rain. Although, the one thing I do watch for is try not to park somewhere where it's really humid and damp. You're going to get mosquitoes. Sometimes a lot of them. Now, and I want a darker color back there, but not a bright color necessarily. And this is where I should be switching the brush again, probably. Little scan of my environment for you here. How pretty, how beautiful. If it gets too...
Which honestly, we probably should have just had butter chicken, but whatever. I will not concede.
That's what I do when I need to clean the window for the rain sometimes. Another thing that I do at a certain point is I go in with pencil. Oops. Again, be really careful if something is really wet still. Don't be fuddling around in there. Tear your paper. I'm not pleased with that blue of the sky, but it's still wet. I'm surprised I haven't turned this phone off yet. Usually I would. I mean, I expected to, just to be able to get all the stages done. Okay, that makes it more intense. Do I want that? I mean, I'm trying to modify this blue a bit, just with white. Again, don't think that that mixing with white is going to solve all your problems. I mean, it'll lighten and it'll darken. That's all it'll do. If you need to go to the opposite. Okay, there's a red. Oh, this is going to purple the color a little bit. This will dull it a bit. Take it to a purple blue. Okay. I'm wondering. You know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to use it. I'm going to go in really sloppy. Why am I not having that centered? You know, that's better. And I think maybe I'll just, sometimes when I want to save a bit of the color, I do that. Clean my brush in the pile for next time. I'm just thinking that I might want to darken that gray. It's so beautifully dramatic up there in the sky at the moment. Again, I'm never really concerned about getting everything exactly right. Just I want to sense everything's an approximation, you know? So I just want a sense of it. See, you can fuddle too much, and that's what's going on there. I just screwed that. And when you screw something up, it's usually because you're trying to control. Try to control too much. You're in trouble. I still feel I went too much there, but I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. Yeah, don't obsess. Go on. Oh, geez, I should actually clean that again so I can see it. This is interesting here. A little chance for some line work there. Oh, you know, getting to the point where I want to stop soon. Wow, it's so lovely way back there. Look at that distance. Look at that. Wow. Oh, see. That's too wet to touch. I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to call this done. Oh, let me... Bit of structure there. Shit. Okay. Fiddling coming to an end. Coming to an end now. There's always other things you can do. I'm thinking at the moment, do I want to raise, darken these two areas? Which I may want to do. And how long should you consider? Okay, I'm going to change them. I'm going to darken them. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for a green. Okay, here's a green to start with. Looking for a green. That's too dark. Looking for a green that is mid-value. Fairly bright. Surely that's gonna overpower. Well, you know, maybe just a touch. I'm gonna hit it with a touch of purple. Sorry that I'm working one-handed here. Just got some lovely paint all over my pants, which I normally don't do. Touch it with a bit of purple, and you're going to see it. You're going to see this green dull a bit. Well, I don't know if I had the camera on it. Okay, there. You saw it dull. Did you see it dull? Okay. Look at what the scene looks like now. Look how pretty it is now. Gorgeous place to live. I think I'm just going to stop for fear of overworking it. We'll call this one done here now.